Joining us now to discuss more is terrorism analyst Tom Makaitis. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
Let's talk about, we've been talking about the situation in Gaza for almost a year now, but let's talk about what has escalated with Hezbollah in Lebanon, and if this was expected, what happened over the weekend.
It was certainly expected. The general conclusion is that major ground operations in Gaza are over, and what we're now seeing is, extensive occupation raids, things of that nature. And the situation in the north has been viewed as unacceptable for a very, very long time, with 60,000 Israelis and about 120,000 Lebanese on either side of the border displaced. So far, the attacks by Hezbollah and the retaliation by Israel have been concentrated in border areas. That has changed a bit as Israel has gone deeper into the country, and so has Hezbollah. The fear is that there will be a gradual ratcheting up, and perhaps this will get out of control and draw in the other regional players into something that is a lot wider and more dangerous.
And what happens then? Can Israel compete if more forces come in to help Iran and its proxies, or does that mean a more active role for the U.S.?
It could mean, probably both of those things. Yes, Israel has vastly superior military capability. Whether it could, how it would do against a sustained concerted attack by the Houthis, the militias in Iraq, Hezbollah, and so on, maybe even Iran directly, is another question. And what would the U.S. do? The U.S. is sort of limited now because we're in an election. There's great hesitancy on the part of the Biden administration to be too assertive with the Netanyahu government. But this is a deliberate escalation. I mean, the pagers and the air attacks are getting Hezbollah leaders, but they're also killing innocent civilians.
And let's talk about what's happening as far as a possible peace agreement with the war in Gaza. Where does that stand?
Well, you heard the American negotiator say that Sinwar doesn't want to negotiate. He's correct to a certain degree, but neither does Netanyahu. Netanyahu really wants to play this out for a couple of reasons, one not least of which is to stay in power and avoid a reckoning as to why October 7th happened, which is a question still hanging out there. He still is below 50% popularity in Israel. So both sides are kind of dug in pretty well here. The concern is the longer this goes on, the more likely you're going to get bodies instead of live hostages at the end of the day.
Tom, are the Palestinians helpless victims of Iran and its proxies? What's the end game to live peacefully with them?
I think they're helpless victims of just about everybody. They're in a desperate situation. I mean, part of the purpose of October 7th was to put this issue back on the international stage, and that happened doesn't mean what they did was acceptable. It was horrific. But the Palestinians just, they have no future. There is really nowhere for them to go. The far right would like them expelled and the territory taken over by settlers, but where are you going to send them? None of the surrounding states can afford to or are willing to take them in. And as one retired Israeli officer said, in 5 years, we'll be fighting their children. I just think all this is going to do in the long run is add to the cycle of violence. And Gaza has to be rebuilt. I mean, and it's absolutely a ruin at the moment.
All right, Tom Makaitis, we appreciate you joining us this morning.
Happy to do it.
Thank you, Tom.
Let's get a check of the weather. Paul?